Hello, and welcome back to my series of tutorials on how to use Mastodon. In this episode, I would like to talk about search and how to find things on Mastodon. The first thing I want to talk about is what kinds of things Mastodon can search for when you perform a search. There's actually three things. One of those is people's profiles, the second is hashtags, and the third is people's posts. And when you select the search field, which is in the top left of the screen on desktop, and enter your search query, which for the sake of example, I'll just use my own name. I'll say Eugene Rochko. And when you press enter, it will perform a search on all three types of things, and it will show you a summary. This summary will show you a little bit of each type because it doesn't really know what you're actually looking for. Is it a profile that you're searching for, or is it a post? So on this screen, you see a little bit of everything, starting with profiles, then hashtags, then posts. And if you want to drill down and search specifically for profiles, you would click See All. Now, if you wanted to take a shortcut, then you may have noticed that when I was entering my search query into the search field, a little pop-up underneath was saying Quick Actions. And two quick actions are offered here. One is posts matching Eugene Rochko and profiles matching Eugene Rochko. Now, since I am searching for a name, it makes the most sense to search for a profile. So I can either use my mouse or I could just use the keyboard and use the down arrow to navigate to this option, and pressing enter, it will take me straight to the profile search. And as you can see, my profile is at the top. There's more people in the world named Eugene. And of course, my wife, who shares my last name, is on this screen as well. And if you need to load more results, you can do this at the bottom. If you decide that, profiles isn't what you were looking for after all, you could just switch to the hashtags tab. And you'll find that for some reason, some people have used my name as a hashtag, which I guess makes sense, given that I'm a public person to some degree. And if you want to search for posts, you can click on the last tab as well, and you'll get some results. I don't really want to look at any posts mentioning my name for obvious reasons, but this is all for the sake of showing you how it works. Now, if I want to reset the search, I can click on this cross over here, and the field will be empty, but you'll notice that my recent searches are saved here. And you'll notice that even though I've searched for the same thing, it shows up twice. The thing is, it saves what kind of search you've performed. So this first search that I did, I searched for all types of things. So if I click this, it will repeat that search and show me the summary page. And the second recent search is the one where I clicked on profiles only. So if I click on that, it takes me straight to profiles. Now, in practice, probably your recent searches will not be the same thing over and over in different ways, but it can be useful if you often go and look for the same thing. Searching for profiles is easy, and it's probably the most common action that you would be doing on Mastodon as you're looking for people you may know, famous people, or just, remembering somebody that you spoke to recently. In search results, people who you follow will always be prioritized so that you can always just quickly go to a profile of somebody you know. So if you follow somebody named Alex and then you search for Alex, then the Alex that you follow will appear in search results first over every other kind of Alex on Mastodon, even if they have a higher ranking, more followers, or whatever. Now, searching hashtags is relatively straightforward. There's not a lot to it, but you need to consider that when you're searching for a hashtag, what results it gives you is the hashtags themselves. If you're searching for, let's say, Saturday, and you just press enter, and you will see the summary page, and let's say you will see the hashtags over here. These aren't the posts that are tagged with Saturday. These are hashtags that contain the word Saturday. So this is a way to search for hashtags that match what you're searching for, rather than for directly going to the posts themselves. If you wanted to go and see all the posts that are using this hashtag, you would just click on it, and then you would be on Catterday. The search field provides a shortcut for this as well. As you may have noticed, as I was entering Catterday, it was showing me a quick action called go to hashtag Catterday. If I click this, it takes me right to the Catterday hashtag, skipping the search altogether. Now, moving on to probably the most interesting part of search, which is searching for posts. What you need to understand is that what Mastodon offers you in search consists of two different data sets. One is public posts from people who opt into being searchable, and two is your personal library of content. Now, what is your personal library of content? Your personal library of content is your own posts that mention you, so things that you have received in your notifications. It's posts that you have boosted, favorited, bookmarked, and that's it. So basically, if you make a post or interact with a post, we are conceptually considering this as part of your library and offering you a way to search for it, even if the post is not public or the author of the post is not opted in to search. This was actually the original form of search that existed on Mastodon for years until we added the public part later. So whenever you're searching for anything at all, both of these data sets are queried and the results are combined. However, you can decide what you want to see, and if you know this in advance, you can narrow it down. How do you narrow down search results? Well, you may have noticed that there is a whole area on this pop-up that says search options. Let me just go over these options one by one. Has supports the keywords media, poll, or embed. So for example, you can type out has media and it will filter your results, but by only posts that contain a media attachment, that is an image, a video, or audio. Has poll would filter them by only posts that contain a poll, or has embed would filter them by posts that contain a link preview, or a YouTube embed, a YouTube embedded video. The next option is and can be combined with the keywords reply or sensitive. So for example, is reply will filter your results by posts that are replies to another post, or is sensitive would filter your posts specifically by posts that are marked as sensitive by the author. And the thing is, you can combine these options with the minus symbol to negate them. So for example, let me type something. So we could search for cats of Mastodon as a keyword, and has media, and then exclude is sensitive to make sure that we don't get any sensitive results. And searching for it should give us some posts that contain pictures and none of them are marked sensitive. I mean, normally cats of Mastodon pictures probably wouldn't be marked sensitive anyway, but I'm not trying to do any kind of risky demonstrations here with more risky keywords. The next option is language, and you can filter your results by language. It's pretty self-explanatory, but what's not self-explanatory is that this option requires the usage of an ISO code for the language. Now, that sounds more complicated than it is. If you know that the code for English is EN, then you're kind of halfway there. So English would be EN, German would be DE, French would be FR, and so on. So we could look for cats of Mastodon posts that are in the French language. And there we go, French cats of Mastodon. All right, the next option is from. With this option, you don't use the keyword user, but rather you can use somebody's username. So we could type cats of Mastodon and then combine it with from gargron@mastodon.social, which is my username of my real account, I mean. And then the results should give us Cats of Mastodon posts specifically from me. Of course, if you want to search your own posts, which, this account is quite empty, so there's not a lot of point to it, but you could use the keyword me as a shorthand for doing that. So Cats of Mastodon from me. Of course, it doesn't bring anything because I haven't posted any Cats of Mastodon things from this demo account. The next option is actually a trifecta of options called before, during, and after. And they allow you to filter your results by dates. So let's say, again, entering Cats of Mastodon and before, and then you need to type the date in a specific format, which is not too hard. It's just year, month, day. And you can actually trim those, so you can just do year or year and month. You don't have to include the day. So let's say Cats of Mastodon before 2022. Let's search for that. Here we go. We have some posts from 2021. They're so old that thumbnails don't show up. Let's do something that's slightly more recent. Let's do before 2024. And let's do before May. There we go. I don't know why the thumbnails don't show up. I think this server wants to embarrass me in front of my watchers, but the principle is that. Now, the last option is called in and works with 3 keywords: all, library, and public. Now, what does this mean? I mentioned before that there are these 2 data sets that Mastodon searches, the public one and your personal library. So here you can narrow down what it is that you want to see. By default, it searches both, which is the option all. So in all would be the default, same as not typing anything. But typing in library would search within the posts that you've made, posts that mention you, things you favorited, things you have bookmarked, and things you have boosted. So let's just search for hello and see what comes up. Right, there are some posts from this account that contain the word hello. And if I wanted to exclude them and search just the public data set, I can do it like this. And there we go, lots of hellos. Now, a couple more things. As I have mentioned, you can combine any of these options with the minus sign to negate them, to exclude them. So for example, we could search for Cats of Mastodon and do a minus language FR to exclude all French posts from the results. We could filter down by only results that are replies with is reply, and we could exclude anything that contains the word, I don't know what's a sensible example here, but let's say it contains the word dog. So this is a perfectly valid query. I don't know if it'll bring anything up because I'm searching for replies that contain Cats of Mastodon, exclude French, and exclude the word dog. And I don't know how many of them would have included dog in the first place, which is why it's not the greatest of examples, but I can't think of anything better right now. As you can see, some results have shown up, so that's great. But yeah, so basically the minus sign works for your search query as well as all of these special keywords that I have explained. So it's not just them that you can negate, but also keywords. So you could search for the words Paris, excluding the words Texas. So the results would be only about actual Paris and not Paris, Texas, which is a movie I've seen quite recently, so it's fresh in my mind. Now, there is one more bit here, one more bit of syntax, which is whenever you're searching for multiple words, like, for example, dogs of Mastodon. Mastodon will give you results that contain the words dogs, of, and Mastodon, but they don't necessarily have to be in that order. and in that sequence. So it could be, Mastodon first, and then in another sentence, dogs, and somewhere else, off. In fact, off might be skipped under certain circumstances because it is considered a common stop word, like the, a, in, and so on. They are not super relevant to the results, so usually they just ignored. But if you want to search specifically for this sequence of words in that order without any compromises, you can surround them in double quotes. Sorry, that's not a double quote. In double quotes, and the search will be exact. This is called phrase search. I think that's enough about how to do searches, and now I need to talk a little bit more about what you can expect from being in the search. As I've mentioned, there's the two data sets. I think this is the third time I'm mentioning this, but I'm going to narrow down on what the public data set is. The public data set consists of posts made by people who opt into search and make public posts. So in my first episode, I've talked about visibility settings. There is public, quiet public, followers only, and private mention. Quiet public, very specifically, excludes the post from search. So only public posts are searchable through the public data set. If you want to be included in search results, the setting for this is under More, Privacy and Reach. Now, you'll find that there's lots of settings on this page that concern the privacy of your account and what features are enabled for it and how you want to be found and so on and so on. But the relevant bit is under the section Search, and there are two settings here, and it's the first one that's relevant. It's called Include Public Posts in Search Results. And this setting is historically off by default for many people, simply because it came much later than lots of people's accounts were created. So if you want to toggle it on and save changes, don't forget to press Save Changes. From that point on, your public posts will be included in the search results. Now, for new users, during onboarding, they get a profile setup screen where they see a checkbox asking them, do they want to be discoverable or not? And if they check that box, then this setting is enabled for them. Anyhow, I think this is it. This is how you search for things on Mastodon. I hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions that I haven't managed to answer in this video, please comment below. Let me know. I will try to answer them. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.